told you that was okay? I want names. I want faces. I want to know. Because the shit ain't okay.
Guys, I don't know what's going on in the state of Texas. It looks like they just passed a bill that says men will now have to start paying child support at the moment of conception. So as soon as the baby is conceived, you got to start paying child support.
Y'all, Texas just made sperm expensive, like hospital bill expensive. If you are a man in Texas, you better stop playing around, because they are coming for your check before the baby even gets here. Texas Senate just passed a bill that says if you get a woman pregnant, the state can make you pay child support starting from conception. That's right. Prenatal child support. You pay money the minute your little swimmers clock in for duty. Not when the baby's born. Not after a DNA test. At conception. They want y'all on the hook for prenatal care, hospital bills, vitamins, checkups, middle of the night, Chick-fil-A runs, or whatever. Basically, the minute she's pregnant, the court says, you the daddy, you pay up. And if she waits to file until the baby is born, you still owe back pay for everything. I wish this were a joke, but I swear it is not. The Senate passed it 27-4. If the House approves it, the governor signs it, it's law. And it's crazy because my husband has been working with young men, and he always tells them, your sperm is liquid gold. Treat it like it's worth something, because it is. Well, now Texas is confirming that.
A new Texas law went into effect, and y'all know I'm here for it. Texas has a new law, SB 942. A father would be responsible for paying retroactive child support starting from the date of conception. This bill seeks to ensure both parents contribute to the financial responsibility of pregnancy, including medical expenses. The topic has sparked passionate responses from both legal experts and community members. With child support in the state of Texas, it only looks at one parent's income as the one paying support.
I don't know how they was able to pull this off. I think all the men of Texas need to get their senators out of office. Whoever voted for this bill, there's no way men in Texas are gonna let them have another term. They have to undo this. This is way beyond government control and reach.
How does this square with Judaism, which believes that life begins at first breath?
Well, Senator, I would say if the purpose of our child support system is to make sure that both parents are sharing in those responsibilities, and the mom, who's obviously physically bearing the child, that the mom isn't left without help. And so I don't think it's a matter of dispute that expenses and medical care, those needs arise before birth. And this recognizes that.
Fucking thing sucks.
But this bill is creating an obligation to the mother or to the child.
Well, Senator, that's a great point. This makes sure that the mother is taking care of prenatal care and postnatal care. Most of this, the framework that Senator Menendez and Senator Hinojosa were talking about, and you know, that framework already exists. We're just clarifying that the mom has already had some need for help before the birth takes place.
I don't know how they even is gonna implement something like this if they don't even know who the father is. Is there gonna be pre-birth DNA testing done? And the question I want to know is, does that also mean that these men will be given DNA tests at birth? Why is there nothing on their Senate agenda about that?
So Texas passed a law saying child support should start at conception. So I think one thing that should be established is paternity. I feel like paternity is the biggest issue to tackle, because I feel like as soon as you're able to be tested, to get the DNA test, that's when it should take place. While the child is still baking in the oven. Science has come that far. And I feel like that's where money should go. Because to me, it omits a bunch of issues along the way. And if you, as a female, don't want to get DNA tested, don't ask for help. Don't ask for any of our services if you don't want paternity to be established. It shouldn't be a question. To me, that's where it starts. And after that, then the child support issue can be established. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of kids being born and it's no good. It's a no good situation. And on both sides, men and women are making horrible decisions. We love to point the finger. No, it's men. No, women. You know, the only thing is that women don't really have the option to walk away. That's the big issue. However, it doesn't necessarily mean the mom is the best, you know, in the best situation or mental state or whatever it is to even be having a kid. So in terms of me agreeing or disagreeing with it, I just think it's weird if you don't want paternity established from the gate.
If you get a woman pregnant in the state of Texas, you will have to pay child support from the moment that that child is conceived. Texas passed a new law that goes into effect in the fall of 2025, right? That states that child support begins at conception. Now, one may ask, why the change, right? So as we all know, Texas has some of the strictest abortion laws, right? Requiring women to basically have babies. They're unable to terminate pregnancies. And there's lots of restrictions, right, in place for women. So they're forcing them to have children that they may not be able to take care of. The father is MIA, whatever the situation may be, okay? And so everyone asks, like, why is it that men just basically get to skate and a woman is stuck left holding the bag? So it's like, no, wait a minute, just stay tuned. So basically, men, okay, child support typically starts when the baby is born, right? Negating the fact that that woman has had medical bills for 9-10 months, right? Some women have to be on bed rest. Some women have to take a change in employment, right? Because they're unable to work or they can't work as much. Maybe they work on their feet, so they're not allowed. They've had to take pay cuts. They have to start buying things for the baby, paying for, you know, equipment and supplies and things for the baby ahead of time, right? Their bodies are changing. And also just the mental and physical toll that it takes on a woman's body, all of which a man doesn't have to experience. So all of these things have come into play long before the child has ever been born. And then you still have men complaining about small child support obligations, doing their best to try to even get out of that.
See, that is something I truly don't like right there. A lot of feminist women just hate the fact that men's biology is different and we don't have the same pains and cramps and aches as they do. She keeps saying things like, the woman is left to hold the bag literally because she is pregnant. That's not men's fault. That's how biology works on this planet. The woman is the carrier and bearer of the child. And us as men respect that. We get it. Don't blame men, blame God or whoever you believe in.
Once the baby is born, there's extracurricular activities, right? There's daycare costs. All of these things are not included in child support. And we all know the cost of daycare. Most child support payments do not even cover a week or two of daycare. Okay, so let's just be real, right? So that woman has to find childcare. She has to try to go to work. And the guy is complaining because he has to pay $400, $500 a month. Okay, so this law, which makes total sense. It's like, why should you get to just spread your seed all over? That woman is left carrying the bag from day one, right? From day one. So now they passed retroactive child support. You will have to go back and pay child support when that baby is conceived. So maybe wrap it up, because no, you can't tell women that life starts at conception and pass all of these laws based on that notion, but not hold the men accountable who created that life for any type of financial obligation, right? You cannot have it both ways. So all the folks who voted for these stricter reproductive laws, right? You have to look at both sides of that coin and make sure all parties involved, right, are properly taken care of, given that you've passed all of these restrictions. And then I know what the men are saying, like, well, what if the baby's not mine, right? How do I know? I can't pay retroactively for a child who I don't even know if it's mine. So here's the deal, right? You had control over where you planted your seed to begin with, right? So if you're concerned about whether or not a baby is yours because you're dating someone casually, unprotected, or whatever it might be, and you're that concerned that you don't even know if that child is yours, perhaps you shouldn't, A, have been sleeping with someone unprotected, right? And then B, maybe just not sleep around, okay? The accountability lies with you. Nothing kicks off without you. So if you're concerned about, well, maybe the child's not mine, right? Let's have that thought process, right? And put those proactive measures in place before you lay down with women, right? Before you choose a woman that you lay down with. How about you do that? Because the reality is the burden has and always been on the woman, no matter what, right? No one has to help her or do anything until that child is born, okay? And what we're saying is most of the time, the baby belongs to the man who is at the forefront of the situation, right? Yes, you have some cases where maybe women don't quite know. Those cases are usually the rarity, right? So in the United States, okay, let me talk about the United States, because I know it may be different in other areas in other countries, but in the United States, when you're, sleeping with somebody, usually you know who the dad is. Okay, now guys may try to deny it because they're like, well, I think I should go and okay, fine, get your DNA test, but you're still going to pay. You're still going to pay retroactive child support. And if you don't want someone to just willy-nilly be able to put your name down on a child support case, okay, before the baby's born, because this can go for anybody. Any woman can say that you are the father, right? This should be a huge wake-up call to men to stop sleeping around. Stop sleeping around. That's the solution to this.
Look, I know she couldn't wait to come after men, but ma'am, there's also a flip side of this. How about the women actually keep their legs closed to these men? There are several birth control options they could have considered, and they also have the plan B they can take the day after, and they also have it where women can go to the clinic if they choose to and get that situation taken care of. Why is she trying to make these women sound like they are victims once they become pregnant?
So, yeah, what do y'all think about all of this? Like, I just feel like if they are going to require men to pay child support at time of conception, I'm pretty sure that they are going to need, like, to get them tested, right then and there, if you were asking for something like that. Because a lot of people, don't get their kids swabbed or get a DNA test until after their birth and claim paternity. So I just, but I did see somewhere where they were going to probably be doing that. I think, for real though, I just think people, at this point, everybody should get swabbed, DNA tested at the time, when they are birthed, because it's just getting ridiculous out in these streets, like, for real. But then he also gone on and say that the parental care, maternity vitamins like OBGYN visits and postnatal recovery costs, they often fall solely on the mother, which is correct. So I could kind of see, where this is coming from. But there's gonna be some mad, some mad baby daddies and men up in Texas, Lord Jesus.
Once again, I don't know what's going on in Texas, but Texas is coming in hot. Emphasis on the coming. So Texas Senate just passed a bill, y'all. They just passed a bill. I'm gonna say it again. They just passed a bill that got people's jaws on the floor, especially the men folk. Like, it would be required that fathers to pay retroactive child support starting from the day of conception. That means the last time she had a period. Not from birth, from conception. So that means every time, from the prenatal appointments, maternity clothes, supplements, and all those unexpected pregnancy expenses. Now you got a tab, homeboy. And while some of y'all are shouting, yes, accountability, but and about time, others are raising their eyebrows like, is this really about support? Is this really about support or about quietly establishing when life begins?
She has a point right there. This may be a play from abortion rights activists trying to end the debate for life begins at conception, if you know anything about that debate. But anyways.
But here's where it gets a little bit heavy. What does it mean in cases of groping? If a child is conceived from violent act and survivors now tied financially and legally to their assailants through child support laws. Is this protection or control? Support or a setup? Because if we're going to legislate from conception, we have to talk about all consequences. So what do y'all think?
The bill requires a child's father to pay retroactive child support starting from the baby's conception date. It's a controversial topic that father and business owner Michael Ball feels passionate about.
I feel like she's carrying the baby. He's responsible for the baby. Doctor's appointments, all that comes into play. Both parties should be held accountable to bring that child into the world.
Members of the Texas Senate passed the bill on Wednesday with a vote of 27-4. This bill is making sure both parents play a role in supporting the child before birth and covering medical care expenses, which can be expensive. Attorney Anthony Robles at Robles Family Law Firm has been practicing law for 18 years and deals with child support cases daily. He says child support is a lifeline that parents need to take care of their children.
The obligation to support a kid doesn't start when the baby's born. The mother incurs extra expenses when she's bearing your child, when she's creating your child. It's going to help you in multiple other ways. One, the amount you'll owe for back child support, it's going to be less because you've already paid some of it. Two, you're probably going to have a better relationship with the other parent.
But is the system really fair?
With child support, at least in the state of Texas, is it only looks at one parent's income. It looks at the income of the parent who's going to be paying child support and the resources that parent should provide for the kid. It does.
Yeah, the state of Texas is showing they behind on this one. Well, one thing about this, I was thinking of moving to Texas one day, but I won't be moving to Texas at all, and I'm also not looking to have kids anyway. This just sounds like government overreach. Like they doing too much. Is this law really all about trying to hold a father accountable, or is it just, Texas way trying to squeeze some more money out of its people? And I think a lot of guys would agree with me, but for the men that are in Texas, you better protect your seed if you want to live a happy, peaceful life. But I'm gonna stop the video right there. You guys be sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this crazy mess that's going on out there in Texas. I hope this is something they don't try to start implementing nationwide. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.